Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dan's Thoughts. And welcome to 2023. And you know what? I'm feeling a renewed sense of energy right now. Sure, 2022 didn't end well for DC fans, particularly those who are fans of Zack Snyder's vision. James Gunn fired Henry Cavill as Superman, trolled the Snyder fandom, and it's clear as day that James Gunn and Peter Safran, co-heads of DC Studios, have no plans to continue on with the SnyderVerse. But who says that DC Studios has to do it? A friend of mine, YouTuber Skiiwalker Tha Jedi, came up with this great alternative. Hashtag SellSnyderJL to Netflix. And what this entails is Netflix finishing the SnyderVerse. Is Warner Brothers Discovery licensing out the SnyderVerse to Netflix? And really, the more that I think about it, the more that this is a great idea. Netflix is no stranger to spending money. They spent $450 million on the Knives Out sequels. So, Netflix has money. And David Zaslav has already said that Warner Brothers Discovery plans to license out IP to different streamers. So, this isn't out of the question. And Netflix has a working relationship with Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder has had success with Army of the Dead on Netflix. And he has a new franchise coming out this year, Rebel Moon, which is also going to have Ray Fisher in it. Henry Cavill has worked on The Witcher and Enola Holmes on Netflix. Ben Affleck, Triple Frontier, Gal Gadot, Red Notice. So there's already a history of SnyderVerse actors working on Netflix projects. And this would really be beneficial to Warner Brothers Discovery. Right now, they are $50 billion in debt. And this would be easy money for them. Think about it. It's all reward, no risk. Right off the bat, they get a licensing fee from Netflix. So they get money right there. But from their perspective, let's say that it doesn't do well. Well, they're not fronting the cost. They're not paying actors. They're not paying production or VFX. So it's no cost to them. But if it does well, and it will, Netflix reaps the benefits. Or not Netflix, Warner Brothers Discovery reaps the benefits. I mean, I guess Netflix would too. But the point is, with Warner Brothers Discovery, it really is all reward, no risk. And also, us Snyder fans that they pretend not to care about, but let's be honest, they would certainly love us off their back, this would be the way to do it. Because James Gunn and Peter Safran do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want over on their end. You know, we at least will get to see the conclusion to the SnyderVerse, and we will leave them alone without them having to do anything whatsoever. And quite frankly, Warner Brothers Discovery could use this good publicity. Let's be honest here. Firing Henry Cavill 2 months after telling him to announce his return was not a good look for them. Not a good look at all. But if they allowed this to continue elsewhere, you know what? At least this is a good way to make it up to the fans. Make it up to the talent like Henry Cavill and restore their reputation a little bit. So it's a win-win all around. I mean, I'm sure people have some concerns, right? Well, James Gunn is not going to want a competing universe on another platform. True. But if James Gunn thought that this would be a viable competitor, David Zaslav would certainly ask, well then, why aren't we doing it on our end? Just saying. But also, I've always said that the SnyderVerse is a lot like Star Wars in two ways. One, the story centers around the rise, fall, and redemption of a character. Anakin Skywalker becoming a Jedi, then he becomes Darth Vader, and then he kills the Emperor. Rise, fall redemption. Superman. Kal-El rises to become Superman, falls when he succumbs to the anti-life equation, and then redeems himself afterwards. But the other reason, the reason that more entails to the point at hand, Star Wars is this vast, expansive universe. But it also works as a self-contained 6-film, and yes, I'm saying 6-film arc, with episodes 1 through 6. Those 6 alone work as a complete story. But you also do have Bad Batch, which new season came out, so check it out. Clone Wars, Rebels, Andor, Rogue One, The Obi-Wan Show, Mandalorian. No, I don't disregard all of Disney's Star Wars, just the sequel trilogy. But anyway, the point is, Star Wars works as a small 6-film arc, and it works as this expansive universe. Same with the SnyderVerse. Zack Snyder, his story is essentially a Superman-centric pentalogy, with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and a Justice League trilogy. So the only thing you would absolutely need to properly finish this story is Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and Zack Snyder's Justice League 3, which could be filmed back to back. And then you would have a complete story right there. So it wouldn't be necessarily have to be an expansive universe. I mean, yes, I think Netflix could also get the Ayer cuts because it's already filmed. There's no reason that film should not have already been released. David Ayer's true version of Suicide Squad. So I think for sure, Netflix they could get David Ayer's Suicide Squad, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, and Zack Snyder's Justice League 3. The only bummer for me would be them not doing the Batman v Deathstroke project. Because, as I said in my very first episode of Batman's Thoughts, that scene with Deathstroke would go nowhere. And that would be kind of a bummer. So, yeah, that would be the only part that wouldn't be great. And hopefully they could do it. But at least we would have a proper conclusion to the story. Henry Cavill could do Warhammer still, but he could at least properly finish his arc as Superman. Even if he doesn't get to do a Man of Steel 2 on Netflix, or, again, who knows if he would be able or would want to, but at least he could have this proper conclusion to his story. Maybe even do the Black Adam v Superman fight that was teased at the end of Black Adam. But you wouldn't need that much to have a complete story. I know some people would be upset that we wouldn't get to see Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 or 3 in theaters. And to be honest, I would be too. I would be very upset I would be kind of disappointed to not see that in theaters too. But you know what? There is a benefit to this as well. Zack Snyder's Justice League was 4 hours long. And it would be kind of hard to go from a 4-hour movie to a 2.5-hour to 3-hour movie. I don't know, I feel like movies should be kind of similar lengths, or a little longer. And you couldn't do a 4-hour movie in theaters, because, let's be honest here, unless we're going to wear a diaper or bring a bottle with us, we can't sit in the theater for 4 hours long. We couldn't. But on a streaming service, you can. Because, again, like Zack Snyder's Justice League 1, Zack Snyder could just do chapters, and people could stop wherever they want to if they don't want to watch a 4-hour movie. Whether they need to use the bathroom, or they just need a break. I mean, when Netflix releases a new season of a show, people watch it will watch Stranger Things all 8 episodes straight through anyways. So, why is this any different, really? Really, again, you could just do Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 back-to-back, 4-hour movies with chapters, and release them at separate times. So that's a benefit to streaming over theaters. And another benefit, before I forget, for Warner Brothers Discovery is right now their slates, Flash and Aquaman 2, were films that were meant to lead into the DCEU before this James Gunn reboot plan. Flash was retooled, I know, it was going to reboot, then not, but point is, before James Gunn, it was going to not reboot. And they took out Henry Cavill's scene as Superman because why tease something that we're not going to get? But if you allow this to continue on Netflix, there's incentive for us to see these films in theaters, that we will see payoff to this. We will see the payoff on Netflix. And they could put Henry Cavill's scene as Superman back into the movie. That's a win. That's another win. And guess what? Zack Snyder himself has already shown support for this. In a post on Viral about SellSnyderJL to Netflix, guess what? Zack Snyder himself liked it. So right now, we already got support from Zack Snyder himself on this. This can work. This can really, truly work. And now what I want you all to do, in the link, or in the description, I posted a link to the Netflix request form, where you can request TV shows and or movies. There are 3 slots available. What I want you all to do is fill out 1 slot with Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, another with Zack Snyder's Justice League 3, and the 3rd slot, different options. David Ayer's Suicide Squad, Ben Affleck's Batman v Deathstroke, Man of Steel 2, Black Adam v Superman, just some project that's clearly in the SnyderVerse / DCEU. Make it clear. Show Netflix the demand. Show Netflix we're interested. And another thing, I think it's time to retire the Fire James Gunn hashtags. Look, I was on that too. 3 videos ago, I had Fire James Gunn on here. But the time for that is over. The time for Fire James Gunn, the time for Boycott WBD is over. I mean, not if you want to boycott WBD, still fine, but don't hashtag it constantly. Focus on positivity. Positivity to get where we want. Show our interest as consumers, as paying consumers for this content. We can do this, people. We can do this. Just keep trending, focus on the positivity, and tag Netflix. You can tag Warner Brothers Discovery if you want, but I would say focus on Netflix because they're the ones who have a good relationship with Zack Snyder. They're the ones who care about their customers. And I do want to make one thing clear right now, too. In the past, I was talking about boycotting DC, boycotting WBD. And I want to kind of clarify what my stance is going forward with this. I will be supporting The Flash and Aquaman 2, because those films are SnyderVerse cast, and I don't think those films really support James Gunn's reboot. Shazam 2 doesn't really either, in my opinion, but after what Zachary Levi said on Instagram, nope. That film ain't getting my support. And Blue Beetle, I feel like James Gunn can kind of incorporate in his DCU, so I would say don't give Warner Brothers your support on that end. And I won't really be supporting anything DC 2024 and beyond, with some exceptions. I got Gotham Knights for Christmas, so I will support that game, and I will support the DC that I loved in the past. Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, Batman the Animated Series, Zack Snyder's movies, plenty more stuff before this whole reboot mess went down. I'm a DC fan. I'm going to love DC. I'm Batman. That's who I am. I can't not talk about DC. So I will continue to talk about DC going forward, just being selective in what I talk about, because until some deal gets made with Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix to give us the SnyderVerse, I just can't really support them as a company right now. But again, easy way for them to restore faith. So what do you think of this? Do you think this could work? Comment in the chat, in the comment section. Let me know. And if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. And I just want to give another special shout out to Skiiwalker Tha Jedi. Dude, this was a great idea you had, and this could be the very thing that gets us the SnyderVerse. And when we do get this, because I believe we will, I have faith, Alfred, faith, it will be thanks to you. Hats off to you, Skiiwalker. Great job. Let's do this, people. The SnyderVerse fandom has accomplished so much. Let's not give up now. We can make history again. Let's do this, and let's have a bat-tastic year.